Hello guys, Dylan Zealous here, and today we'll be continuing Atomic Habits, Part 2. Not that way, let's get into it. As I put the finishing touches on this book in 2018, JamesClear.com is receiving millions of visitors per month, and nearly 500,000 people subscribe to my weekly email newsletter. A number that's so beyond my expectations that when I began, I'm not even sure what to think of it. How this book will benefit you. The Epicurian investor Naval Bank said to write a great book, you must first become the book. I originally learned about ideas mentioned here because I had a low time. I had to rely on small habits to rebound from an injury, to get stronger in the gym, to perform at a high level in the field, to become a writer, to build a successful business, and simplify to develop it into a responsible adult. Small habits have helped me fulfill my potential. And since you picked up this book, I'm guessing you'll like to fulfill yours as well. In the pages that follow, I'll share a step-by-step plan for building better habits, not for days or weeks, but for a lifetime. While science supports everything I've written, this book is not an academic research paper. It's an operating manual. You'll find wisdom and practical advice front and center as I explain the science of how to create and change your habits in a way that is easy to understand and apply. Fields I draw on, biology, neuroscience, philosophy, physiology, and more, have been around for many years. What I offer you is a synthesis of the best ideas smart people figured out a long time ago, as well as the most compelling discoveries scientists have made recently. My contribution, I hope, is to find the ideas that matter most and connect them in a way that's highly actionable. Anything wise in these pages you should credit to many experts who precede me. If you're foolish, assume it is my error. The backbone of this book is a 4-step model of habits: cue, craving, response, and reward. And the 4 laws of behavior change and evolve out of these steps. Readers of a physiology background may recognize some of these terms from operant conditioning, which was first proposed as stimulus, response, reward by B.F. Skinner in the 1930s and been popularized more recently as cue, routine, reward. In The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, behavioral scientists like Skinner realized that if you offered a high reward punishment, you can get people to act in a certain way. But while Skinner's model did an excellent job explaining how external stimuli influence our habits, it lacked a good explanation for how our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs impact our behavior. Internal states, moods and emotions matter too. In recent decades, scientists have begun to determine the connection between our thoughts, feelings, and behavior. This research will also be covered in these pages. In total, the framework I offer is an integrated model of the cognitive and behavioral sciences. I believe it is one of the first models of human behavior to accurately account for the both of influence, the influence of external stimuli, and internal emotions of on our habits. While some of the language may be familiar, I'm confident that the details and the application of the 4 laws of behavior change will offer a new way to think about your habits. Human behavior is always changing, situation to situation, moment to moment, second to second. But this book is about what doesn't change. It's about the fundamentals of human behavior, the lasting principles we can rely on year after year. The idea is you can build a business around, build a family around, build a life around. There's no one right way. There is no one right way to create better habits. But this book describes the best way I know, an approach that will affect you regardless of where you start or what you're trying to exchange. The strategy I cover will be relevant to anyone looking for a step-by-step system for improvement, whatever your goals centered on health, mind, productivity, relationships, or all above. As long as human behavior is involved, this book will be your guide. The fundamentals: why tiny changes make a big difference. 1. The surprising power of atomic habits. The fate of British cycling changed one day in 2003. The organization was governing body for professional cycling in Great Britain had recently hired Dave Brailsford as its new performance director. At the time, professional cyclists in Great Britain had endured nearly 100 years of mediocrity. Since 1908, British riders had won just a single gold medal at the Olympic Games. They had fared even worse in cycling's biggest race, the Tour de France. In 110 years, no British cyclists have ever won the event. In fact, the performance of British riders have been so underwhelming that one of the top bike manufacturers in Europe refused to cite style bikes to the team because they're afraid they will hurt sales if other professionals sold the Brits using their gear. Brailsford has been hired to put the British cycling into a new trajectory. What made him different from other previous coaches was relentless commitment to a strategy referred as the irrigation of manual gains, which was the philosophy of searching for the tiny margin of improvement in everything you can do. Brailsford said the whole principle came from the idea that if you broke down everything you can think of that goes into riding a bike, and then improve it by 1%. You'll get a significant increase when you put them all together. Brailsford and his coaches began by making small adjustments you might expect from a professional cycling team. They redesigned the bike seats to be more comfortable and rubbed alcohol on the tires for better grip. They asked riders to wear electrically heated overshorts to maintain ideal muscle temperature when riding and use biofeedback sensors to monitor how each athlete responded to a particular workout. The team tested various fabrics in a wind tunnel and had their outdoor riders switch to indoor racing suits, which proved to be lighter and more aerodynamic. But it didn't stop there. Brailsford and his team continued to find 1% improvements and overlooking unexpected areas. They tested different types of massage gels to see which one led to the fastest muscle recovery. They hired a surgeon to teach each rider the best way to wash their hands to reduce the chances of catching a cold. They determined the type of pillow and mattress that led to the best night's sleep for each rider. The team painted the inside of the team truck white, which helped them spot little bits of dust that would normally slip by unnoticed but could degrade the performance of the finely tuned bikes. As these and hundreds of other small improvements communicated, the results came faster than anyone could have imagined. Just 5 years after Brailsford took over, the British cycling team dominated the road and track cycling events at the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing, where they won an astounding 60% of the gold medals available. 4 years later, when the Olympic Games came to London, the Brits raised the bar. They set 9 Olympic records and 7 world records. That same year, Bradley Wiggins became the first British cyclist to win the Tour de France. Next year, his teammate Koos Fremd won the race, and he would go on to win again in 2015, 2016, and 2017. giving the British team five Tour de France victories in 6 years. During the 10-year span from 2007 to 2017, British cyclists won 178 World Championships and 66 Olympic or Paralympic gold medals and captured 5 Tour de France victories in what is widely regarded as the most successful run in cycling history. Why do small improvements accumulate so much in remarkable results, and how can you replicate this approach in your own life? It is so easy to overestimate the importance of one defining moment and underestimate the value of making small improvements on a daily basis. Too often, we convince ourselves that mass success requires massive action. Whether it's losing weight, building a business, writing a book, winning championships, or achieving any other goal, we put pressure on ourselves to make some earth-shattering improvement that everyone will talk about. Meanwhile, improved by 1% isn't particularly notable. Sometimes not even noticeable. That could be far more meaningful, especially in the long run. The difference in a tiny improvement can make over time is outstanding. Here's how the math works out. If you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you're done. Eventually, if you get 1% worse every day for 1 year, you'll decline down to zero. But starts as a small win or minor setback, alchemists learn much more. Results: 1% improvement, 1% decline. Failure 1. The effect on small habits compound over time. For example, if you can get just nearly 1% better each day, you'll end up with results that are nearly 37 times better after 1 year. Habits are the compound interest or self-improvement, the same way that money amount multiplies through compound interest. The effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. They seem to make a little difference on any given day, and yet the impact they deliver over the months and years can be enormous. It is only when looking back 5, or perhaps 10 years later that the value of good habits and the cost of bad ones become strikingly apparent. This can be a difficult concept to appreciate in daily life. We often dismiss small changes because they don't seem to matter very much in the moment. If you save a little money now, you're still not a millionaire. If you go to the gym 3 days in a row, you're still out of shape. If you study Mandarin for an hour tonight, you still haven't learned the language. You make a few changes, but the results never seem to come quickly. So we slide back into our previous routine. Unfortunately, the slow pace of transformation also makes it so easy to let a bad habit slide. If you eat an unhealthy meal today, the scale doesn't move much. If you work late tonight and ignore your family, they will forgive you. If you procrastinate with your project until tomorrow, there will usually be a time to finish it later. And a single decision is easy to dismiss. But when we repeat 1% errors day after day by replicating poor decisions, duplicating tiny mistakes, and rationalizing little excuses, our small choices compound into toxic results. It's amalgamation of many missteps. A 1% decline here and there that eventually leads to a problem. The impact created by a change in your habits is similar to the effect of shifting the route of an airplane just by a few degrees. Imagine you're flying from Los Angeles, and New York City. If a pilot leaving from LAX suggests a heading to just 3.5 degrees south, you'll land in Washington, D.C. instead of New York. Such a small change is barely noticeable at takeoff. The nose of an airplane moves just a few feet, but when magnified across the whole entire United States, you end up hundreds of miles apart. Similarly, a slight change in your daily habits can guide your life to a very different destination. Making choices 1% better, 1% worse seems insignificant in the moment, but over the span of moments that make up a lifetime, these choices determine the difference between who you are and who you could be. Success is the product of daily habits, not once in a lifetime transformations. That said, it doesn't matter how successful or unsuccessful you are right now. It matters whether your habits are putting you on the path towards success. You should be far more concerned with your current trajectory than with your current results. If you're a millionaire where you spend more than you earn each month, then you're on a bad trajectory. You're spending habits that don't change. It's not going to end well. Conversely, if you're broke, you save a little bit each month in a path toward financial freedom, even if you're moving slower than you like. Your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. Your net worth is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your weight is a lagging measure of your eating habits. Your knowledge is a lagging measure of your learning habits. Your clutter is a lagging measure of your clean habits. You get what you repeat. And that's today's video. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Later.